Hello and welcome to my podcast called A Knitter's Soul. My name is Elo and I am coming to you from Oslo, Norway. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Lovely to have spending time with me again. If you're new, I hope you find my content of interest. As the name suggests, this podcast is mainly about knitting and yarn hoarding, but also sometimes about crochet and maybe a little bit about sewing, but definitely mostly about knitting. I'm gonna start off with a huge thank you to all of you who have subscribed and liked and commented. It has been such a beautiful experience. The love you've shown and all the kind words, it just really melts my heart and means the world to me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, so let's get started, I guess. So let's start off with the finished objects. It's my Koivoa light. I am finished with it and I am super happy with the way it turned out. Yeah, I'll just stand up for a moment. Oh. So yeah, really happy with the way it turned out. It was a very enjoyable knit. I really loved every single stitch of it. This is definitely one of those projects where it was a very lovely process. So I feel like I both enjoyed the process and I am thoroughly enjoying the project or the produce that I got out of this experience. And yeah, I think it's just super lovely. As you see, I have opted for dark cufflinks and I'm very happy with that choice as well. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the same kind of fade as I did here, meaning that it would go from this dark yellow, dark golden yellow into the white, like the same here. But then I decided that I wanted this part, the yoke, to be the focal point, and that's why I opted against it and went with dark blue ribbing all the way. And yeah, I'm super happy with it. So if you're contemplating doing it, I really highly recommend it. It's easy to follow pattern. I did a tiny little modification. I added a few extra stitches just under the arm. I believe it was 8 or 10 stitches. So I think I went up one size like in the body because I want it to be a little bit looser fit because Koivoa Light is pretty negative ease jumper. And yeah, and also I did full length sleeves just because it's such a warm sweater and it's gonna be a winter sweater, so it's more practical to have the long sleeves and not like 3/4 length sleeves, which I do also like the look of, but not when it's like this kind of woolly jumpers. Then I do prefer having a full length sleeve, and usually I like to do more like bracelet length sleeve, and this one, well, it doesn't maybe look like it, but I have knitted them slightly longer than what I usually go for, just because I felt like it. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I love the colors. I like the yellows, how they look so golden and beautiful, and now with actually like thinking about the autumn, it's kind of like autumny. Really lovely. So the only thing I was thinking about maybe redoing is my rolled neck. And the reason why is, you know, when you check and you double check, but you still check wrongly. I was meant to do the rolled neck on a 2.5 millimeters needles. So I grabbed and I looked and I thought I had done the right thing. But what I was looking at was in reality that it was this 2.5 US size. And somehow my mind just didn't compute that. And yeah, I just realized it like later on that I don't think I have 2.5 mils like in a loose package. Like I do have the set of Jayagos, but I don't have them like this, and I grabbed it from a bag like that. But yeah, but I've been wearing it for a couple of days. I don't know if it bothers me that much. I'm still thinking about it. I might just leave it as it is. The only thing is that, you know, you can see a little bit of the floats, but then again, how often am I leaning like that? So I might just leave like it because I think it looks really nice no matter what. So yeah, this is Koivu Light by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks. I forgot to say that. Yeah, I do recommend it. Really enjoyable knit. And it's so fun to see how like one thread of mohair just changes the yarn completely. Because this, yeah, I can show you actually. I'm wearing socks made of the same yarn. How different this looks, you know. Because this is a yarn, it's the Drops Fabel. Don't remember the number of it, but I have all the details in my Ravelry project page. So yeah, it changes quite a lot. Oh yeah, and these socks, by the way, they are Speckled Space socks by Amanda Stevens, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's meant to be like full length sock, but I like my socks kind of like mid-calf or shorter. I really enjoy them. I mean, I have both, but when I'm wearing them with shoes that are not like high, like as in Wellingtons, I mean rain boots, and I like them to be shorter. Yeah. So that was my first finished object. The second finished object I had not started last time. I'm not even sure if I have spoken about it. But what it is Love Note by Tin Can Knits. Ooh. Yeah. So yeah, this is it. I've called it my Candy Floss Love Note because the yarn is just so sweet, if you know what I mean. Like it just almost hurt my teeth knitting it. So yeah, I just named it my Candy Floss jumper. Tiny little bit of pooling of the gray in the bottom. It doesn't really bother me. The changes that I've done to it are that I've made it slightly longer and when it calls for in the pattern, and I've knitted full length sleeves. Again, because this yarn feels so warm. So I'm thinking this can be like a sweater for winter time when you want to look pretty but not freeze. And it is knit out of this Sevek yarn, and it is color 603, and it's a blend of 60% kid mohair and 40% acrylic yarn. So yeah, and I found that it didn't look as, I don't know, I think I thought that this looked more pastel-y in the skein. On the screen it looks pretty much the same as it does in real, like in the jumper, I'm sorry. In real life it looks more pastel and it's showing up on the camera. So, but yeah, I was surprised how much more the colors showed. Can't really tell on the camera, but like when I'm looking at this skein in the daylight, like just looking at it with my eyes, it looks more pastel-y. But I don't mind it, actually. I think it turned out really nice. Definitely not gonna be my last Love Note. I'm sure I'll be making more of these. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. This is a gift knit, so it's gonna be a Christmas gift. And actually I realized the other day that I was posting things on Instagram that I shouldn't be posting on Instagram because this is supposed to be a gift, as I said. And the recipient is one that does follow me on Instagram. If she has seen the post or not, that's another question. It's not a given one, but anyway. That was, yeah, Love Note by Tin Can Knits, and it's also a pattern that is available on Ravelry. It's a paid for pattern. And I have actually 2 knit-alongs I can post them into, because there is this Norwegian podcast called Frøken K. She has, actually both of those knit-alongs are hers. She has a knit-along that's called Lapskaus, which is pretty much like a mishmash of different patterns, and she's chosen 3 patterns. And Love Note is one of them, Ranunculus is another one, and then I think it's Marled Jacket or Jumper by Stephen West. So you can knit any of those 3 patterns and enter her knit-along. Also, she's hosting this year as the 2 last years. Is this the 3rd year? Yeah, I think so. She's hosting a donation site for breast cancer awareness, and she also had like anything with pink you can post in that knit-along, and also to participate in the knit-along, you, yeah, as I said, knit something with just even like the tiniest bits of pink in there, and then you donate to a page which is linked up to the breast cancer awareness site, but it goes through her thing, and there is a goal of trying to reach a certain amount, which will hopefully kick last year's final amount. So yeah, I'll be posting that one in there. And on that note, I'll actually go over to my next finished object, which was not planned at all, but I've had this skein of yarn for the longest of time. It's Manos del Uruguay silk blend. It's 30% silk and 70% merino extra fine wool. And I've had it for the longest of times because I wanted to try it. I bought it at one point, but I never really had a plan with it. And then after finishing the Koivu and then Love Note, I felt like needing something smaller, something quicker, like a palette cleanser, as they say. So I decided to cast on like Sophie scarf copy. So I haven't used a pattern. I've just cast on, it was 6 stitches to start off with, and started working I-cords, and then slowly but surely increasing the amount of stitches till I reached about the middle point, and then I turned and did the decreases, and yeah, pretty much used up most of the yarn. But I was afraid because it was really hard to tell how much yarn I was using, because it at one point felt like I wasn't using any of it, and then I felt like I was getting very close to an end. I was like doubting my measurements, and so I turned maybe like, yeah, 1, 2 or so garter rows earlier than I really needed to, because I still have, was it 11 grams? No, not 11. Yeah, I still have this bit left, so I could have had a few more rows. So yeah, note to self, measure more properly and you can use up more. But even though, I mean, like, I have this much, even though, yeah, well, even I used up most of it. The skein was bigger than the 50 grams that it says it's supposed to be. I think it was like 53 or 4. I haven't made a note of it, grams on it, and I used up 52 of it. So still, most of it is used up. And what I use to measure this kind of small skeins is this jewelry scale that I purchased for a really reasonable price. And it gives like quite exact measurement, which is really nice when you're working with, yeah, like smaller amounts, or when you need to split skeins or balls of yarn. to make sure that you have enough. So I can totally recommend that. And I actually not learned, but got the idea from Amy Palko, her podcast. Yeah, so it's been a great help on many occasions in different projects that I have need on. So yeah, that was another. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you quickly a little bit closer, because also I really love how it's not like this solid color, but has a little like heathered look. Is that what you call it? I think it's really pretty. Yeah, just a simple scarf. So that was that. Then it's the works in progress. And let's start off with the MCAL. No, not the MCAL. Yeah, MCAL, Mr. Knit Along by Stephen West. Twists and turns. So, and at this point, it's almost no need, I think, to say spoiler alert, because I haven't finished more than the first clue. I haven't had the time to work on it, and also again because I had finished 2 big things, and when I was finished with the clue 1, I just felt like knitting on something small. So I have cast on another small project which I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, first I'll show you this. I'm just thinking, yeah, I can show you the yarns first that I chose, because I was so back and forth last time with which color to choose. So yeah, that's what I went with in the end. I was thinking, I was actually leaning towards the pink palette that I have here, pink, white, and yeah, the dark right there. I was leaning towards those colors, and I had almost decided to go with these colors or that palette. But when I was recording my last episode, I saw these colors anew. I just, yeah, pretty much changed my mind, but wasn't still sure. And I was actually almost putting together a third one, which was still not these two sky. It was this silver, this copper, and then I was contemplating this kind of like a blue tone to it. Just grab it. Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe that, and that would have been beautiful. I would have loved it, seeing like how it's knit up. I think it would have been wonderful. But what kind of stopped me was that I wanted to use what I already had. I didn't want to go out and buy more yarn, because I've been buying quite a lot of yarn lately, and I get to these points from time to time where I feel like I just need to use up what I have. And that's also partially why this happened, because I just felt like I wanted to use it up. I wanted to make use of that beautiful yarn. So that's why I ended up with this choice in the end after all. And also another reason why is because when I was looking at my shawls that I have a lot of like pinks and whites and dark reds, and I have a lot of those. So I was thinking, okay, something that I don't have from before is actually this color palette. So now comes the piece. So if you still haven't seen the clue 1 before, spoiler alert, but I think most of you have. So this is my clue 1. But yeah, as you see, I have not started on clue 2. Partially because I haven't had the time, and also because I felt like doing something smaller. But I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. I like those subtle speckles that you get running through. yeah, I really like it. So, and to be quite honest, in the beginning when I was starting to do this technique, I was a little bit like, I have been avoiding this technique for a long time, not because it's difficult or anything, but I know it's fiddly. And not so many years ago, it was very popular with headbands that were made in this technique here in Norway. And I remember I was looking those headbands and I never went for it, but I really love the way it's looking. I think it's really, really cool. It's really fun. So yeah, looking forward to see what's gonna happen forward from like this. So that was my MCAL, twists and turns. The yarns I have mentioned before, I have also created my Ravelry projects for it, and my yarns are also all lined up there. You can see if you're interested there. Okay, I'll quickly show you. I mean, come on, it's not so much time. So the silver is by Fortuna Sokkegarn. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. This is a Norwegian yarn shop. They have a lot of really beautiful yarns. So I will link their shop details. They have like gorgeous yarns. I do recommend having a look there. And then scrap metal or skrapjern is by Garnfene, which is the Yarn Fairies, and it is also 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. They also have a lot of really pretty yarns. So yeah, and the copper is as well from Fortuna. They have changed the logo. So this used to be their logo before, but these are the new yarns. So if you go look for the site, that's what you're gonna see. And this is the same. It is a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So yeah, go have a look. They have a lot of really nice yarns. Can recommend. So yeah, hopefully next time I make a video, I'll have finished both this clue 2 and clue 3. So it'll be a huge change. On to my next work in progress, which lives in my Bed of Roses bag. And another theme of pink, October. I'm using that bag. And also on the note of October, it's Socktober. It wasn't why I did it. I just wanted to have something small on my needles. But anyway, I cast on a pair of socks. I need to just get my socks out of the tangle. And yeah, I'll show you the one first. I mean, it's these simple socks. One bow and one rib, Italian. No, not Italian. Tubular cast on, 1x1 rib. And the idea with this sock, or why this sock kind of came about, was that I wanted to use up this yarn there. And I had about 5 grams left of it. And this is like what I have left of it. Ooh. From knitting those two. Oh, that's where. I wanted to use up the most of it. Ooh. Okay, they're fiddled, not easy, but I wanted to use them out because I really liked the yarn. I wanted to make the most of it. So what I did was that first I was thinking about going with the pink to be the cuff, and yeah, to be the cuff. But then I didn't want it to be as pink, so I opted for white, picking up those small little flecks of white that you can see here and there. And then I picked the green to go for the bottom. And the yarns are Drops Fabel. I believe it's 400 or 401. It's the white, natural white, not the bleached one. And then it's Permin, Selma Permin. Ooh. Yeah, it's my notes of like how many grams there are left from previous projects, and yeah, it's just my way of doing that. Really pretty yarn, really nice to work with. I love the colors in it. And the last one is Arvetta Classic, and it's color 147, which is Army Green. And I really love the way it's turning out, because I like, let me see if you can see it really well here, or, well, yeah, you can see it. Like, I like how like those little flecks of white in the yarn kind of make it so that the stripes kind of melt in a way. They're not like these solid stripes there. And then I like how the green, it's not 100%, I mean, like, no, not by a stretch, but I like how it's kind of picking it up, you know. You see the green going through there, and yeah. Yeah, heel with a gusset, partridge heel, isn't that what it's called? But with a slight little movement into it. And yeah, I have got two. There are like two of them. They're about the same length. The only thing that I didn't think about, what I usually do is like when I'm striped, well, like when I have stripes in the socks or pattern in the sock, and you get like this seam, so to say, there where you change the yarns, what I usually try to do is make sure that I have both of the seams on both socks kind of on the inside, like facing each other, but I forgot about it. So now I have like them. Am I making sense? Well, yeah, well, what I usually do is that I try to have them kind of facing each other. So that means that like when I put them facing each other, now you see that one heel is pointing forward, another one is going backwards, but usually I would try to knit them so I would get heels on the back but still facing, because then you don't see the seams as much, but I don't think anybody's gonna see or notice them anyway. So yeah, I really like the way it's turning out. And these stripes, or this, these stripes are inspired by a pattern, a Norwegian pattern, which is called Mini Pettini. It's actually one of the Fortuna, Garnboutique Fortuna people. Oh my god, I'm like, my words are not computing now. Yeah, and I can't remember her name now, but I will put it on the screen. She has a few patterns. I think both of them do have patterns, really nice patterns. I do believe they are only in Norwegian, unfortunately, but I mean, you can figure this out without a problem, I'm sure. Like if you have knitted some, you just like, you know, do some blending. This one is, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and it's a very nice way of using up your minis, because the pattern that, oh, sorry about that, the pattern that she has, what she does is that she uses minis. She uses mini skeins to do this bit, like that there, and then blending in. So it's just like two different skeins that she uses, but like, because I wanted to use up the little one, I used 3. But yeah, if you are able to read Norwegian, look up Mini Pettinis. If not, just, you know, be creative, try just blending, and yeah, use up those little scraps, those tiny beautiful scraps of yarn that you have. And like I said, I didn't have more than just 5 grams and was able to utilize most of it. So yeah. Also, what I wanted to talk about, yeah, no, I can take that one afterwards because I have another work in progress, but I can do that when I do knit and sit and knit, or No, I'll show it to you now. It's my blanket. I made a little bit of progress on it. Not a lot, but I mean, it is quite a few quite a few stitches to work through. So when I showed it to you first time, I was there and I have put on a few rows, not a lot, but a few. So yeah, it's coming along really nice. I'm still really happy with the way it's looking, and it's also very nice like when I need a break, kind of like a mental break, and just not think but kind of just feel the yarn and feel the stitches, and you know, it's lovely. But what I wanted to do this time was due to a few comments that were commenting about my usage of leftover yarn, and in that case it was my scrap yarn basket, and how like they had never thought about using the yarn in a way, maybe giving away to a charity shop. And you know, we've all been there where we have those bits and bobs or ends of yarn left that we don't know what to make out of, because you know, maybe we bought a special yarn and for a special project, and this is not a yarn that you usually maybe use or will ever maybe necessarily buy again, or like whatever the reason is, you don't know what to make out of them. So I thought I'll try to inspire you with some of the projects I have made through the years that have given me actually a lot of joy, because one, I find it very gratifying when I manage to use up yarn that is kind of just sitting there, and make something out of that actually I use almost the most. So the first ones that I have, actually I'm gonna check one thing with those, sorry, because I was just unsure about one thing here. Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say it wrong, which is good, I checked. Okay, these ones are my scrap yarn mittens that I made out of Rauma tretråds strickegarn. I've been saying wrongly about this one. Yeah, sorry, this is gonna be a little bit back and forth now. I've been saying PT3 as a yarn for this one, but it is really tretråds strickegarn. If you go to my Ravelry page, you have all the information there. And to those who are new here, this is my Hurra meg rundt baby blanket by Tori Seierstad. This pattern is in both Norwegian and English, so if you want to make this, if you find this like intriguing or you're interested, do look it up on Ravelry. It's a very nice pattern to follow. I really enjoyed testing that for her back in the day, because this is quite a few years since I made it. And yeah, I love it. But yeah, it's not PT3 as I've been saying. I don't know where I got it from, but it is tretråds strikkegarn. It's Rauma yarn. But yeah, anyway, these yarns here, like the colorful ones, not the white, I think this one I purchased since, are leftovers from that blanket. And you know, classically you make these kind of Nordic mittens with two colors, or maybe like a third color in the cuff, but I didn't have enough yarn of any colors to make it in two colors. So I was just thinking like how I would like to put them together in order to make the most of the yarn. So I found these patterns. As I said, this is Mittens for Mimi. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It is in English. And the way this pattern is written up is that you can choose any type of yarn and like different, or like, no, there's one size. That's what I'm trying to say. There's one size, one set of amount of stitches. So there is like no variations, like if your size is so, you have less stitches or so. The way you make them bigger or smaller is by changing the yarn you use and the needles you use. And I knew that mine were coming out gonna be coming out a little bit on the big side, but that was okay because this yarn is 100% wool yarn. What I did was that I actually hand felted it slightly, which is really good, you know, because that gives you a more dense fabric, which keeps the wind out. Oh yeah, inside, by the way. And yeah, I was thinking, that's what I was gonna say. I was thinking about doing like this kind of a pink, or like pink and reds kind of mitten, but I didn't have enough of this pink that I've used in the thumb. And also I do love the way they turn out. So yeah, it is really just about playing and weighing and just trying. Match the colors that you like. And you know, this is such a small item as well, like, and it's gonna be like, I'm sure, like, even if you maybe don't feel like you hit the colors 100%, you know, at least you haven't tried like it on a huge project, but something small, and I'm sure you'll use it no matter what. And if you don't love it, you can give it away to a gift, that to a person you know loves the colors you have chosen. The second one, which is also knitted out of scrap yarn, is the fan shawl. It looks a little bit sloppy. I haven't blocked it or anything for a very long time, and I don't think I'm gonna do any like proper blocking or anything because I just love it the way it is. It is so lovely, you know. It's one of my favorite shawls that I use a lot because of the color, because of the feel and everything. This pattern is also on Ravelry. I think it's a free pattern. Let me see. Fan shawl, yes, it's a free pattern, and I have not written down, yeah, I'll put it on the screen, like the name of the designer in this shawl is originally for a DK weight yarn. I have used a lace weight lamb's wool and then kid silk from Drops as the second yarn. Like, I've held two threads together all the way, and I've just used up like, wait, let me just search. Okay, that's better. I've just tried to use up the different shades of pinks and like darker pinks and like even this dark red, and I haven't been like too strict on not like that all the fans had to be in same color. Like, you see, it has a little bit of white and then it has the pink, and then the same happens there. I don't have like a full fan that is one color, but it doesn't really matter because once you put it around your neck, you're not gonna see it. Nobody's gonna mention that, oh, that's not a full fan of one color. So I find this to be a really fine way of using up, especially like with the way knitting world has been for a while now, with all the mohair yarns, and I'm sure you have like so much mohair yarn you don't know what to make out of. But something like this, you know, it's a beautiful way of using up. I have all these yellows now from this koiva. I could do something similar, you know, find a background yellow color that I like and then put them together and yeah, do something like that. Yeah, then I can show you my Selbukaul. This is a pattern by Inga Skeie from Knitting Traditions. She has a very lovely podcast here on YouTube. Go check her out. She is a knitter based in west coast of Norway. And yeah, this is also like, this is like a sport weight fingering weight yarn. It's Finul by Rauma. And also again, like, not only with using up your, yeah, because it's, I haven't written down how much yarn I use, but this is also very nice way of using up your scraps or leftover yarns. But also, if you are new to color work, you know, this is a very nice way of trying. It's not a huge project and it's very gratifying again, you know. Just imagine finishing. It looks very intricate, but the pattern is not that intricate or difficult. Again, a way of also practicing your skills in knitting color work if you haven't done that before. And this one as well, I have actually lightly hand felt it for a more dense fabric, so it keeps me nice and warm. And I must say, like, even though I love knitting in woolly wools, and especially when it comes to color work, this is not necessarily something I put straight to my skin, but I tend to have, you know, those fabric cowls in the between, because it would get itchy. So I do have like a fabric one, which is really thin and light, all the way next to my skin, and then I'll put that one for extra warmth, and it works out really, really lovely, and it's just so pretty. Then I could recommend a really lovely pattern in these days when we're heading towards, like, we are in autumn and we're heading towards a colder winter, like slippers. These are knit in one piece, so it's no sewing or anything, if I remember correctly. And again, it doesn't use a lot of yarn. I had some leftovers of Du Store Alpaca Sterk, and it's knit in 3 colors. You have this one stripe that goes through here and there, and this is the color Ling. I have not written down the number, I'm sorry, but I have it on my Ravelry page if you're interested. And I used only 5 grams on, yeah, there's 2 of them, by the way. And I'm not gonna show the bottom, like the soles too much, because I've been using them a lot. But yeah, only 5 grams to this one. Then Burgunder, or the red one, is 32 grams on. I have quite big feet, by the way. I have like a size 39-40 EU size, or like European sizes. And then the white, I used 38 grams. So little goes a long way. And this pattern is written for DK yarn. I'm actually a little bit unsure about the weight of yarn on Sterk, but anyway, she has a lot of sizes in this pattern. So if you want a pair of slippers like this, but you want it maybe for your grandbabies, and then you want it for yourself, and maybe the men in your family, then there are sizes, like from kid sizes, European sizes 1922 up to 49.50. So of course, if you're making bigger ones, you're gonna definitely need more yarn and just a scrap yarn. But like if you're making for your grandbabies or for your children or whatever, you know, perfect way of using up some of that yarn, and that's gonna keep their feet warm. Very, very quickly, I'm not gonna use a lot of time on these. It's like these seating pads. It's a free pattern from dropsgarnstudio.com. It's called Wildflower, and my 2 favorites are these because of the colors. I love colors. They are made out of Rauma bams and PT3. That's the old name. Like I have like both are written up because that's what it used to be called. And they're really nice, like either to take with you on like if you're going hiking or just need something to sit on, or like I even use them in the garden on the chairs. Yeah, very quick crochet project to have. A very simple thing. I again, I had like these oddballs with not a lot of yarn left. It's Drops Nepal, and I had 24 grams of the light gray and I had 42 grams of the white. And I was thinking like how to make the most out of it. And I was thinking I didn't want solid stripes. So what I did was a helical knitting. And that way I got to use up most of it and avoided the hard stripes, and I really like it. And also I have the No, I have not. I was gonna say I have the tubular custom, but I don't. Oh, and another like leftover, I think it's either fritidsgarn by Sandnes or, yeah, anyway. Just for the fun, I mean, like, that in itself would be kind of, I guess, too boring for me. And the last project I'm gonna show you, it looks a little bit worn because it's a couple years ago I made them for Christmas for the girls. Slippers. Now, this project is naturally made out of woolly wools, like 100% non-superwash wools. Hard to hold if I do like that. I've had like different projects either in mind, or I have made something and then I've had the yarns left over, and yeah. And I decided I would use up all of my, is it bulky weight they are in yarns? I will insert a couple pictures as well, because this is like the only pair that's living in the house currently. The rest of them are in their respective homes. Gosh, really bad English today. And yeah, also I used some whatever leftover yarns I had to embroider just some very, very simple flowers on them, just to give them a little bit of interest, because, you know, like just plain felted slippers. But yeah, I can absolutely recommend this project as well. This pattern used to be a free pattern online. That web page is unfortunately taken down, but there are so many beautiful patterns that you can utilize for this kind of project. And then, yeah, just give it your own personal touch with whatever you feel like it. If it's cross stitch, you know, you could do a cross stitch pattern on it, or whatever like kind of suits you or you feel comfortable with, or yeah, you know, just play, put some colors in there. Yeah, that's, I guess, concludes my section of inspiration or blast from the past. Yeah, I guess I can show some yarn that I acquired since last. There was a kind viewer who had commented to me that, like, have you checked out the yarns from Bente? If it's wrong, I'll correct it on the screen, from Arctic Crafts. And I was like, well, I have heard the name for a long time, but I had not bought anything from her before, for several reasons. Nothing to do with her or the colorways. It's just, you know, sometimes you just try to be reasonable and then you maybe forget about them, and then somebody gives you a beautiful reminder, which I'm glad for, because I picked up 2 colors from her shop, colorways. They are self-striping yarns. This one, like Arctic Crafts, I'll do it like that. This one is called Strawberry Pavlova, and this is like so me. The pink and that beautiful red and the white. And it is a 75% merino and 25% nylon blend. I'm really looking forward to knitting a pair of socks out of these. I think it's gonna be amazing. Yeah. And then I picked up this one. It's called Neon Lights. And this one is actually on a base that I prefer, but I find it hard to get hold of here in Norway. It's a BFL sock. I really like the feel of the BFL base. So this is 80% BFL wool and 20% nylon. Isn't that just gorgeous? This one I am contemplating that if I ever host a knit along in the future, or maybe specifically if it is socks or something, I might put this up as a price. That is if I'm able to let go of it, kind of thing. No, I am thinking that this might be a prize in the future. It's so beautiful. Like, look at all these beautiful, gorgeous, bright stripes. Yeah. So that's some of my acquisitions. I did acquire some more yarn. Not yeah, actually I could show you that as well. I'll put in there. Just a moment. Yeah. Talking about socks and sock yarn. There was a lady doing a tea stash of her stash. Sorry about that. And I just jumped on it because it was a really good deal. I've really enjoyed knitting with Opal yarns, and she had 9 skeins of it for like she reduced it by 50%, pretty much the price of it, so I just couldn't say no to it. So this first one is where's the name again? A color is called 7475, and it is Martin der Gitarrist, and it's really nice green and brown kind of blend. I think it's really pretty. I think it's gonna make really lovely socks. There's a picture there as well. You can, oh, there's, yeah, the light is, oh, there. But yeah, I'm thinking those would make some really great socks for some men in my family. And then you have this Blutenbracht there, which is color 9112. And this looks to be more of a self-striping yarn, that you actually get some stripes in there. And what I'm thinking with this one is I would probably love to make contrasting heels and toes and cuffs. I think that would be really great. Like picking out, I like, for example, the happy orange or the yellow, you know. I think that would be great. Yeah, probably yellow or the orange. Oh, even the green actually. Like when I'm looking at, well, what I personally like to do is actually pick the color that is like least of, like the least amount of, or that is the kind of the brightest but not too much of it. And oh, I don't know if I have a like system to my madness, but I have the thought at least. Anyway, that was that. Then I have this one, which is a, where is the name? Sorry, I'm there. Lea de, oi, Schlagenzeugerin. Oh, I'm butchering this. I'm sorry. Sorry to my German views. Anyways, the color number 7474. I think it's so pretty. I love the colors in it. I'm not typically like a purple person, but I just like it in this blend. I think it works really nice. And again, because I'm not a huge purple person, I might mix this with the pink and bring that forward a bit more. But I'm actually even thinking that as it is more of a, it's not like a patterned sock, I would say, as I think with some of the Opal yarns, this actually could work in a shawl as well. I'll see about that. Then you have this color called Relief, is it? Yeah, Relief Firek, color number 9490, which I think also is gonna be really pretty. Where's the pattern? Oh yeah, because they've added those, yeah. You can see partially like how it's gonna look knit up. I think it's gonna be really pretty. And again, I probably would do some, yeah, like accent color cuffs, heels and toes. I really like that. I like the look of that. Then there's this really pretty blue, which is a color 1419. Really lovely color. Actually, that's kind of... No, it's not. That could have worked in the show. No. Then the next two colorways, I have two of each, and this one is Sunrise or Mächtiger Horizont, color number 9440. And I think it's so pretty. So pretty. And in this month of Halloween, I almost could make it a little bit Halloweeny, I think, these ones here. But it's so pretty, I think. So yeah, I got two of those. And the last colorway I got in there is Sunrise Morgenröte, color number 9441. Also so pretty. Like it stripes up like that. So yeah, a lot of nice yarn that I've acquired that I'm looking forward to make something out of. But yeah, a lot of yarn in. And this is the reason why I didn't take it last time, because I had quite a lot to show already before. And then those as well. Has a lot. I have bought some Kidsik as well from Get By It, but I'm thinking I'll show that when I start on that project, because otherwise it's gonna be too much. Let's see, have I spoken about everything? Yeah, I think so. So I guess that's gonna be that for the knitting content, and if that's what you're here for, thank you for staying with me for so long, and I hope to see you again another time. And if you want, you can stay with me for a little longer. I thought I'll share a little bit more about myself. Yeah, so grab your knitting. I will grab my blanket and maybe a cup of coffee or whatever your choice of beverage is, and sit and knit with me a little. Don't think it's gonna be a long one, but you never know. So yeah, one of the reasons why I didn't get too much knitting done this weekend or these couple last days is partially because I've been visiting my friend down in Telemark, and we had a really lovely girls' weekend. Actually, we were 3 friends who got together and we went to a sauna. I will put some pictures and footage in the end, just a little tiny bit from that weekend, and it was so nice. Just to relax and just to be, and you know, meeting with your friends, and yeah, it was just so lovely. We ate a lot of good food, had really good chats. It was just so nice to get out of the city for a while. I mean, like, I do love living in Oslo and I do love everything that comes with it, but that also gives like an extra level of appreciation once you get outside of Oslo and you get to spend time in that nature and the peace and quiet that comes with that. So yeah, so it wasn't much knitting. I did bring my socks with me, but didn't really have much time to knit on them, partially because I was working on turning the heel, so I had to pay a little bit attention on the decreases, but also like once it got dark, that navy green, boy, that is dark. That's like almost black. It's hard to see the stitches, and even though I don't need to look at the stitches like as such, but like when you're turning a heel, you need to look a little bit, you have to pay attention a little. So I didn't get as much knitting done as I was hoping or thinking I would, because I was thinking I'll probably have the pair done by the time I was coming home. I did not. But yeah, it was a great weekend. We had, like I said, a lot of good chats, got a lot of good food, and it was just so good for my soul in a whole nother way, which was really lovely, and I really appreciated it. Another reason why I haven't knitted as much is because I struggle with fatigue. I've done that for a long time and actually been on a sick leave for a long time as a result of that. I have my good days and then I have those days that aren't as good. try to make best out of them, but my mind just goes blank, and I struggle with finding my words or processing thoughts or keeping like a good thread in a story, to be quite honest. Sometimes I find I go on a rant, and I start in one story and end up in a whole different story. So I get lost on the way. So yeah, but also I did actually film a video or like another episode just before leaving for the weekend, hoping to get it up before, but I was struggling with everything. I wasn't getting the video out. I wasn't, yeah, because I didn't get the video out. I never got to the editing part, and then I had to leave and didn't really have the time to figure things out. So that's why I'm filming on a Tuesday now instead of releasing the video before the weekend. So I'm a little bit later out than I had thought about, but I mean, hey, I'm doing this for fun, for my own enjoyment, and for hopefully to be able to inspire somebody along the way, maybe make new acquaintances. And yeah, talking about new acquaintances, I was so hoping I would be able to visit Gunniren from Gunnis Englestrick this weekend, but that didn't work out, didn't pan out, just because we had to take the car to not the dealership, what do you call it, the mechanics, because in Norway you have the thing where you have to get your car approved for another 2 years. Every second year you need to get it approved as a so you can use it. And we pretty much got back a notice of that. Okay, it needs to be, the car needs a lot of work, and it's gonna cost so and so much. And now we are kind of thinking, like, is it worth it? Because the repairs that a car needs in order to be approved for another 2 years, it's almost as much as the car is worth. So I didn't have a car readily available. Otherwise I would have tried to make it work with Gunniren, because I was in the area anyway. I would have been just a short car drive from her. But yeah, maybe another time, Gunniren, I hope so. I would love to meet you and come and see you in your grillhuk, which is like a barbecue corner or something. Oh, yeah. Those of you who know, you know, it's just this really, really like cozy looking little nook that she has, where she has her like a barbecue thing, and where she films for an episode from. It just looks so cozy. It actually reminds me of a nook that my father used to have, and so yeah, I'm getting like good vibes with that. It's for many reasons. So yeah, yeah, I don't know what else to talk about right now. I mean, there's not a huge amount happening in my life due to my health situation. I do try to do things, but sometimes I just don't have the energy for it. So yeah, not a lot to share. But I am in the process of finding out like what I can do, where I could fit in, what kind of line of work I could do. Because I've been working a lot of in office kind of work, so like office kind of, yeah, types of jobs. And then for a couple last years, I worked in home care here in Oslo. And whilst I love working with the elderly and tending to them and doing all those things, because of the way the system is kind of built up and the way also I work, I am struggling with that work, because I always like to go a little bit, maybe, well, not too far, but I find that I want to give them the respect and the time that they need, and not rush them if they're not feeling well. I want to give them the space, but there isn't really not any time for it, unfortunately. And yeah, so I end up burning out by trying to tend to them. So I'm thinking about maybe going in a whole new different direction once again in my life. And I'm thinking maybe with something more with handicraft, I have thought about maybe going into the line of being a teacher, becoming like a handicraft teacher. I don't know. I haven't quite 100% decided. I'm still trying to figure things out. But I'm thinking that, yeah, I want to enjoy what I'm doing in my life. I have many years still left in the work life, and I would love to do something that's giving me, well, not if not necessarily joy, at least it's not gonna break my neck and back and my mental health in the process, kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at this moment. Thinking about a lot of changes, doing different things, and yeah, just gonna be interesting to see where I'm gonna end in the end. And also, I know if you probably thought about it or like made a mental note in your head about it, I do think a lot with my eyes all over the place. So I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to be rude or not engage with you or anything. It's just my way of talking. I need to kind of disengage with my eyes sometimes and look into different point in order to find my thoughts and words. And yeah, sorry if it bothers you. I don't know what to do with it. It's just the way I am. But actually, there's one thing I want to finish up with, and that is there's a lot of talk about, like, well, there's some talk about whether you are a project knitter or if you're a process knitter. I find that I'm both. Reason why I'm saying is like with this Koivu, I was enjoying every single stitch along the way. I didn't mind the stocking neck stitches that I had to do in for the body. I did make it I did make it a little longer than it called in the pattern. I want it to be like a certain length. Anyway, I didn't mind doing that. I've had times that I'm like, oh, I just want this to be done with, over with. But with this one, no, I didn't. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed the whole process, and I am really thoroughly enjoying the project that I'm holding in hand. But I also had a project, for example, like a shawl that I really, really loved, and I really, really wanted to have it. I just never got into the rhythm of the pattern, which kind of took away from me the enjoyment of the process. But because I wanted the project, the end result, I kind of powered through, and I'm so happy I did because I love that shawl. I will show you at another time. But yeah, like where are you on a scale? Do you are you more like the one or the other, or are you like a merge of those two, like I am? Do leave a comment. I would love to hear about that, because I think it's interesting to see like how we work, like what makes us tick, what makes the process of knitting enjoyable for us, or like what makes knitting enjoyable for you, kind of thing. So yeah, if you feel like it, do drop a line. I would love to hear that. Yeah, and also I just want to say, like, okay, I'm just remembering things as I go. Like, if I'm gonna still try to respond to every single one of you with a comment, and because of my fatigue, it's not always the best comment I manage to kind of come up with, but I do appreciate every single comment, as I said before, and I will try to comment as good as I can also going forward, or at least give you a heart. So I do appreciate every single comment or feedback that you give to me. It means a lot to me. So yeah, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. I will leave all my social media information down below, also links to the different patterns, and yeah, hope you had a lovely time with me, and hopefully you want to come back for a knit and sit with me another time. So yeah, I'm wishing you a lovely October. May you have a lot of lovely knitting time, and prosperity, love, light.